into the major Sumerian myths in which Enki is the main character, or the focus of interest, a number of shorter pieces that shed light on Enki have survived. These pieces are perhaps closer to the Enki cult than are the longer myths. The hymns and prayers certainly involve humans in a more immediate way than do the stories, and they raise questions about the more sinister powers of the cunning god. If Enki is a beneficent creator, the human voices raised in distress and anxiety find other unsettling qualities in the crafty one. A chant to the rider of the waves is filled with puzzling and tantalizing references to Enki's power over the me and the consequences, good and bad. This chant, edited here, is part of a long ballad composition consisting of more than 60 kugu devoted to various deities. The 10 kugu that constitute the Enki psalm seem to be separate, unrelated entities, at least on the surface. The link between them may perhaps be Enki's relationship to humankind, which turns out to be by no means as favorable as might have been expected. We will now read this excerpt from Enki's psalm, and then we will attempt a simple explanation of it. Raise up the arm. Raise up the arm. Song of Enki. Raise up the arm. Song of that holy master. Raise up the arm. Song of the master of the Abzu. Raise up the arm. Song of Damgalnuna. Raise up the arm. Song of Asarluhi. Raise up the arm. Song of Namu. Raise up the arm. Song of Arai. Raise up the arm. Raise up the arm. Where is it sung? Song of Enki. Where is it sung? Song of that master of the Abzu. Where is it sung? Song of the holy master. Where is it sung? Song of Damgalnuna. Where is it sung? Song of Asarluhi. Where is it sung? Song of Namu. Where is it sung? Song of Arai. Where is it sung? It is sung in the Abzu, power of the prince. It is sung in Eridu, the sweet. It is sung in the Aengur-Ra. It is sung in the Abzu, where the upright word stands. Master, when you ride the flood waves, Enki, when you ride the flood waves, little waves attack for you like oxen, big waves array themselves for you like a headdress. The river teems with haggle. The princely river, teems with Hegel. Twin of the Euphrates, it teems with Hegel. The river has teemed with teeming oxen. The river has teemed with teeming sheep. The river has teemed with teeming humankind. He made them come out to them in the house, the master, to his me. He made them come out to them, master of the Abzu, to his me. He made them come out to them in the house. He took away the me of life from the house. He hunted out the me. He fastened them about his chest. Master he is of the plenteous me. For his me the Mulu must not long. Enki of the plenteous me. For his me the Mulu must not long. His command, the Mulu must not long for them. Hail the Abzu. Hail the Abzu. Hail the Abzu. Power of the prince. Hail Eridu, the sweet. Hail the Aengur-Ra. Hail the Abzu, where the upright word stands. Ah, the master cast the nets. Enki cast the nets. He cast the first spell. It made the fish come with it. Spoken out by the master. It made the fish come with it. He reached the vermin rising from the earth out to the fish. The master reached the long net out to the fish. The master of the Abzu reached the long net out to the fish. His word is a flood wave that breeds fear. The word of Enki is a flood wave. The word of Damgalnuna is a flood wave. The word of the master of the Abzu is a flood wave. You are true with those who are true. You are not true with those who are not true. You are the venom of a viper set against humankind. His word is the venom of a lion that does not come out for the sake of humans. His word is a flood wave that breeds fear. His word that engendered a flood wave carries humankind away. The word of Enki that engendered a flood wave. The word of Damgalnuna that engendered a flood wave. The word of the master of the Abzu that engendered a flood wave. Fear of you in my body, fear of you in my body. The Mulu, fear of you in my body. The Lord, Master, turn your face to the house of the Mulu. River Tigris, Master of the Abzu, to the house of the Mulu. Fisher of the sea, to the house of the Mulu. Fowler of the mountain's base, to the house of the Mulu, to the door of the Mulu, to the bolt of the Mulu, to the millstone of the Mulu, to the stone pounder of the Mulu, to the reed siev of the Mulu, to the sasur of the Mulu, to the gate of the Mulu, turn your face. Master, your face Libidemma speaks with the Mulu. River Tigris, master of the Abzu, your face Libidemma. For the sake of your fish and birds, as many as have been called a name, for the sake of your well-built houses, as many as have been called by name, for the sake of your well-built cities, as many as have been called by name, it speaks with the Mulu. Elu, come, 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 Elu. The queen brought the Mulu's grain. Damgalnuna brought the Mulu's grain. The master of the house in the house Nademgamu undi. Aldi damma anda aldi. The Mulu filled the hand of the nursemaid. The Mulu, the hand of the nursemaid Engame bizu. Engame bizu, Engame bizu. What is in the corner Engame bizu? What is at the side Engame bizu? Master. Senbuna al-Luruda. River Tigris, master of the Abzu. Senbuna, my master, to the house of valuables. River Tigris, master of the Abzu. To the treasure house, the house where the wife lives. The house where the son lives. To the Abzu, where the upright word stands. Al-Luruda. The master did not come near. The master did not come near. The master sailed in his mager boat, setting out the master's word. The river Tigris, master of the Abzu, did not come near, the fisher of the sea. The master did not come near, the fowler of the mountain's base. The master did not come near. As if in his new mager boat he brought joy. As if in his new chariot he carried cheer. The master sailed in his mager boat, setting out the master's word. With the master, with the master, with the master, speaks with him. The king's house. The king's house, river Tigris, master of the Abzu. The king's house, fisher of the sea, the king's house, fowler of the mountain's base, the king's house. Following is a very tentative summary of each of the kirugu. The first kirugu begins with the poet's exclamatory soliloquy about a song that involves the raising of the arm, which is sung in the Abzu, also known as the Engur-Ra, not only to Enki, but also to various deities that were members of his family. The poet then addresses Enki directly as the god who rides the waves and as the twin of the Euphrates River that causes oxen, sheep, and humankind to proliferate. The poet asserts that after human beings had multiplied, Enki brought them forth to his house. Moreover, he then commanded that humankind must not covet the me. In the second kirugu, it begins with an exclamatory cry addressed presumably to the worshipper, to hail the Abzu and the Engur-Ra, and continues with a narrative passage portraying Enki as a successful fisherman. He casts his nets and a spell, and these bring up the fish with them. In the third kirugu, humanity is mentioned, and very much to its disadvantage. This kirugu introduces Enki's awesome word, which it depicts as a viper's venom that attacks human beings, and as a lion's, or scorpion's venom that paralyzes a human being. The fourth kirugu continues the portrayal of Enki's dreaded word. It is a flood wave that carries off humanity and inspires fear in the human body. In the fifth kirugu, the poet, perhaps distressed by Enki's hostile attitude, prays to him to set his face to the Mulu's house, to his door, bolt, millstones, reed sieves, and gate. Evidently, Enki responded favorably to the prayer, for according to the sixth kirugu, the poet, in addressing Enki, asserts that his face, which presumably he had set to the Mulu's house, is actually communing with the Mulu for the sake of the god's birds and fish, as many as had been given names, as well as for the sake of his well-built temples and cities, as many as had been given names. Perhaps as thanksgiving for Enki's favorable response, to the beginning of the seventh kirugu has Damgalnuna, Enki's spouse, bring grain to her husband. The remainder of the kirugu, however, though fully preserved, is altogether obscure because some of the key underscore phrases are enigmatic. But the Mulu is mentioned once again as filling the hand of the nursemaid, the Umeda, perhaps a designation of Damgalnuna, though it is not clear what it was that he filled it with. The Mulu is also mentioned in the eighth kirugu, but in an obscure context. It seems to consist of a prayer by the poet to Enki to come to the mule's house rich in possessions, the house where live his spouse and son, the Abzu, where dwells the honest word. But according to the ninth kugu, Enki, who is sailing happily and joyously in his mager boat as if it were his new mager boat and as if it were his new chariot, keeps on establishing his word, and did not approach his house. As for the 10th and last kugu, all that can be gleaned from its brief contents is that someone is speaking with Enki and repeating the exclamatory phrase, "Lo, the royal house."